Hello, everyone. Welcome to Awaken Your Freedom Show.
Yeah.
Please subscribe to support our growing community. Today, we're diving deep into a financial philosophy that really radically redefines our relationship with money, work, and, well, ultimately our lives. We're cracking open Your Money or Your Life, Reclaiming Life, Energy, and Freedom by Vicki Robin and Joe Dominguez. And this isn't your typical budget blueprint, it's more a profound invitation to introspection.
That's right. I mean, so many of us are on this sort of relentless treadmill, right? Convinced that more money is the answer, more happiness, more security, all that. But this deep dive asks a really startling question. What are we really trading for that income? It's not just hours on the clock. It's our finite life force, our precious energy. And it challenges us, you, the listener, to genuinely ask, is how I'm earning and spending truly aligned with what I value most deep down?
Exactly. It's about peeling back the layers of societal assumptions about wealth and success. It's an awakening, if you will, to a completely different way of making financial decisions. So let's unpack this powerful framework and discover how it helps us reclaim that precious life energy. Okay, so the foundational truth of your money or your life is breathtakingly simple, yet, wow, incredibly profound. Money equals life energy. This isn't just some clever phrase, is it? It's a radical reframing. Every dollar you earn isn't merely a number in your bank account. It represents a tangible piece of your irreplaceable life.
Yeah, absolutely. The hours you spent working, sure, but also commuting, getting ready, maybe de-stressing from work.
Yeah.
It all adds up. And what's fascinating here is how this concept transforms every financial decision into, well, a deeply personal one. When you're about to make a purchase, you're not just swiping a card, like you said. You're converting a chunk of your actual life, those hours of effort and focus, into that item or that experience.
Yeah.
This immediately raises a critical question. Is this worth the moments of my life it cost me to acquire? It's a kind of mental accounting that goes way beyond dollars and cents.
Okay, let's put a vivid real-world spin on this. Imagine someone earning, say, $20 an hour, pretty common wage. They see a new smartphone priced at $800. For them, okay, simple math, that's 40 hours of their life, 40 hours of work.
Right. Seems straightforward.
But wait, it's even more nuanced than that, isn't it? Like you were hinting at. When you factor in taxes, income tax, sales tax, and then the cost of your commute to actually get to work.
Yeah, gas, car maintenance, maybe public transport fare.
Exactly. And maybe that expensive coffee you grab on the way because you're tired, or even just the mental stress from the job itself. Suddenly that $800 phone might actually represent 60, 70, maybe even 80 hours of their real-life energy. It really makes you pause, doesn't it?
It really does.
That $50 dinner out isn't just $50. It's potentially, 3 or 4 hours of your life force converted into a meal.
That's such a powerful point about the true cost, not just the sticker price. And it really highlights that it's not just the face value, but all those hidden costs of earning the money, the time, the stress, maybe even the emotional toll that we often just, overlook when calculating an item's true price and life energy. This perspective encourages not just critical thinking, but a profound self-reflection before every purchase. It's a constant personal audit. Are you consciously trading your finite time and vitality for something that genuinely aligns with your deepest values, or are you just running on autopilot?
Okay, so to truly see where your life energy is flowing, Robin and Dominguez preach radical awareness. Makes sense. They recommend what sounds like a simple, almost old-fashioned practice, tracking every single dollar coming in and going out. But I have to admit, when I first read that, my immediate thought was, ugh, really? Every single transaction? That sounds tedious.
Oh, it does sound tedious, doesn't it? I think a lot of people react that way initially. But the true genius we extracted from this section isn't just track your money. It's realizing that by making your spending visible, you gain this almost supernatural ability to identify your true enough point.
Okay, enough.
Yeah, and that's often far less than society or advertising dictates. The principle here is really foundational to mastery in anything. What gets tracked gets mastered.
I like that.
By revealing those unconscious spending habits, the little leaks, you empower yourself to consciously discover the amount of money you genuinely need to live a fulfilling life, free from unnecessary excess. It's about defining sufficiency for you, not what external pressures or marketing tell you is normal or required.
There's a vivid example from the book that really hit home for me. A young couple. They were skeptical at first, naturally, but they tracked their expenses for just 3 months. 3 months, and they were genuinely shocked, floored, to find they were spending $400 a month on subscriptions and apps they didn't even use anymore.
Wow, $400 a month.
Yeah. Things they'd signed up for, maybe a free trial, and completely forgot about.
That's so common.
Totally. And cutting that didn't feel like a sacrifice, they said. It felt like reclaiming a huge chunk of their life back.
Yeah.
Think about it. For our hypothetical 20-hour worker, that's like, what, 20 hours? Almost 3 full workdays every month, just vanishing into forgotten digital services.
That's an incredible revelation of lost life energy right there.
It really is.
And see, this isn't about deprivation. It's not about living like a monk, unless you want to, I guess.
Yeah.
It's about profound intention. When you know precisely where every hour of your life energy is going, financially speaking, you can consciously redirect it, steer it towards things that bring you genuine joy, meaning, purpose, rather than letting it just bleed away unnoticed on stuff that doesn't really serve you.
Right.
It's about empowering yourself to make choices that serve your deepest desires and create a life of true abundance, which isn't always about just accumulating more stuff.
Hey, that connects to the next big point. Our consumer culture relentlessly bombards us with this message, right? That happiness directly scales with income. The more you earn, the more stuff you buy, the happier you'll inevitably be, or so they say.
The prevailing narrative.
But this deep dive challenges that idea head on. It boldly states that this more is better trap is exactly that. A trap, one that often leads to more anxiety, actually more clutter, and maybe less true contentment in the end.
Yeah, and this raises an absolutely crucial question, one that kind of defies conventional wisdom. After our basic needs are met, food, shelter, safety, does more money truly buy more happiness?
Good question.
Well, research, and certainly the book's deep dive into real-life experiences, suggests that happiness often plateaus, it levels off. The book introduces this concept they call the fulfillment curve, which is a really powerful visual. Imagine a graph, okay? Your joy, your fulfillment, it skyrockets with initial spending covering essentials like food, shelter, basic comforts. Huge boost. But then it starts to level off like a plateau. And then surprisingly, for many people, it can even dip downwards as consumption crosses into, well, clutter, overwhelm, the stress of managing too much stuff, or maybe the financial stress from the burden of more possessions.
You definitely see this play out in everyday life, don't you?
Totally.
Think about someone buying a reliable car. Okay, high fulfillment, gets you from A to B safely, efficiently, does the job.
Yep.
But then maybe upgrading to a huge luxury SUV, not because you need the space or features, but just to flex or keep up with the neighbors.
Right, the status game.
That often brings diminishing returns in terms of true joy. Sometimes it even adds stress, higher payments, more expensive maintenance, maybe the pressure to maintain a certain image. The classic example of chasing status over actual substance, where the added stuff actually drains your life energy rather than enhancing it. And you hear this from millionaire retirees too, right? They often report finding more joy from simple things, gardening, volunteering, just taking walks, than from buying yet another luxury item.
That's a recurring theme. The raw insight here, the really potent takeaway, is that fulfillment isn't found in the endless accumulation of things. It's found in meaning, in purpose, in connection.
Yeah.
So instead of the constant societal drumbeat of how can I earn more, how can I get more, the more profound and frankly liberating question the book poses is, what's enough for me? Enough for me to live fully, authentically, joyfully. And this shifts the entire paradigm, doesn't it? From an external chase, always looking outside, to an internal discovery, where sufficiency becomes a conscious choice, not some kind of lack.
This powerful reframing, this idea of enough, leads us directly to one of the most exciting, most liberating concepts in the book, the crossover point.
Ah, yes, the crossover point.
This is the moment when your income from investments or passive sources, whatever they may be, grows to the point where it comfortably covers your living expenses. It's that ultimate moment where work becomes truly optional, where you fully reclaim your time, your life energy. And this is where it gets really interesting for so many people listening.
It really does.
Yeah.
Because I think many people mistakenly assume financial independence requires accumulating millions and millions of dollars. You know, this distant dream reserved only for the super wealthy.
Right. Seems unattainable for most.
Exactly. But this deep dive illustrates that the crossover point is actually achieved through mindful trade-offs, through a conscious optimization for simplicity, for value. The true liberation of reaching that crossover point means you no longer need to trade your precious time for money just to survive.
Wow.
You gain the profound freedom to choose how you spend your life energy. Maybe that's pursuing a passion project, spending more time with family and friends, or contributing to causes you really care about, all without that underlying financial obligation. It highlights that true financial independence is genuinely accessible, potentially, regardless of your starting salary. It's more about the gap between income and spending.
There's a great real-world example from the book about a teacher. Through careful planning and by consistently saving a really significant portion, sometimes 50% of her income.
50%, that's impressive.
Yeah. She reached her crossover point by age 40, and she didn't earn a massive salary. Her achievement wasn't about being some high-income superstar.
Okay.
It was because she optimized for simplicity, she lived consciously within her means, and she made those value-based spending choices we talked about, aligning spending with what mattered.
Mm.
And this enables her to live on her own terms,
hmm
to pursue passions outside the traditional workforce. She could still teach, but because she wanted to, not because she had to for the paycheck.
That's powerful.
She consciously defined her enough and lived within it, and that unlocked just incredible freedom for her.
And this also ties into redefining work itself, which is another profound shift suggested here. The book invites you to think of work not just as something that consumes your life, but potentially as a means to enrich life.
How so?
Well, consider the example of a software developer. After tracking his life energy, like we discussed, he realized his demanding, high-paying full-time job wasn't actually buying him happiness, it was buying him burnout and exhaustion.
Then there.
Right, so he made a bold move. He dramatically reduced his hours, went part-time, accepting a lower income. But the hours he cut from his work week weren't really a financial sacrifice in his mind. They were a life upgrade.
Oh.
Those freed up hours bought him time to finally write that novel he'd been dreaming about, to travel more freely, to just live more fully aligned with his actual values. So for him, it wasn't about earning less, it was about gaining more life, a different kind of wealth.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, the truly disruptive takeaways from your money or your life are becoming incredibly clear, aren't they? First off, you don't just earn a living. You are, in essence, exchanging your precious finite life for money. Every hour you clock in, that's an hour of your irreplaceable existence.
Gone forever. And this means every expense you incur isn't just a line item on a budget or a deduction from your bank account. It's a direct trade-off of that life energy you invested to get the money in the first place.
Right.
The real power, the core insight here, comes from owning that exchange, from consciously deciding if that purchase, that expense, is genuinely worth your precious life force. Financial independence, then, starts to look less like accumulating some arbitrary number of millions and more about mindset, about intentional living. It's about designing a life that actually fuels you, not just building a bigger portfolio that might drain you.
It's about that profound realization, I think, that simplicity, when it's deeply aligned with your own values, not someone else's, often delivers a far richer, more fulfilling life than the endless pursuit of luxury or keeping up with the trends.
Absolutely.
And ultimately, maybe that time wealth, just the freedom to choose how you spend your days, can be infinitely more valuable than your net worth on paper. Imagine having the actual time to pursue what truly lights you up, regardless of what your bank balance says that month.
Exactly. And just to reiterate, this isn't about pushing some rigid, extreme frugality onto everyone. That's not the point. It's about being incredibly intentional, mindful, with every single choice. It's about breaking free from those autopilot spending habits that can drain us without us even noticing. And instead, consciously building a life where every dollar you earn and every dollar you spend works for your joy, for your purpose, and for your ultimate freedom. Because, like the title implies, at the end of the day, your money isn't really the point. Your life energy is. That's the real currency.
Wow. Yeah, this deep dive really makes you think. Just pause and consider how you're living and spending that life energy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What core idea or maybe practical tip stands out most to you from what we've discussed today? Something for the listeners to really chew on.
That's a good question. I think for me, it really comes back to that concept of enough, questioning the constant drive for more and defining sufficiency on your own terms. We truly hope this exploration has given you, the listener, some powerful insights to reflect on. You know, how you define enough and how you can maybe better align your spending with what truly brings you fulfillment. Remember, it's a lifelong journey, really, of conscious choice, but it's one that offers just profound rewards for your well-being, for your freedom.
Absolutely. Well said. To close, please don't forget to subscribe on your favorite platform, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or Spotify, to stay sharp and never miss a drop of knowledge that could change your financial life. Thank you.